in the heart of a lavish neighborhood, where pristine mansions stood like silent monuments to wealth, a young woman named Clara went about her day. Her uniform was simple, her truck was old, but her spirit was anything but ordinary. She was a garbage collector, a job many looked down upon, yet she performed it with a quiet dignity that was truly remarkable. Every morning she'd greet the day with a smile, treating each bin, each discarded item, with a sense of purpose. To her, this wasn't just about collecting trash. It was about keeping the world clean, one street at a time. She never complained, never rushed. She moved with a grace that seemed out of place amidst the clatter of her work, her movements precise and careful. She'd often find little treasures people had thrown away, a slightly chipped vase, a book with a bent cover, a child's forgotten toy. She'd clean them, fix them, and give them a new life, a small act of redemption in a world of waste. On one particularly sunny Tuesday, as Clara was working her route, she arrived at the grandest mansion on the block. It was a sprawling estate with perfectly manicured lawns and towering gates that seemed to touch the sky. This was the home of Mr. Julian Ashford, a reclusive millionaire known for his sharp business mind and even sharper tongue. From his second-story window, hidden behind a silk curtain, Julian was watching her. He had been for weeks. At first, it was idle curiosity. He'd see her truck pull up, and he'd watch, expecting to see the sloppiness and indifference he associated with such work. But what he saw was completely different. He saw Clara carefully sorting recyclables that residents had carelessly mixed. He saw her gently place a lid back on a bin after a gust of wind blew it off. He even saw her stop to help an elderly neighbor carry his groceries up his driveway. She did these things when she thought no one was watching, small acts of kindness that painted a picture of her character. Julian was a man who had everything money could buy, yet he felt a profound emptiness. He was surrounded by people who wanted something from him, their smiles as fake as the designer bags they carried. He had grown cynical, believing that genuine goodness was a myth. But watching Clara, he started to question everything. There was an authenticity to her that he hadn't encountered in his own gilded world. She wasn't trying to impress anyone. She was simply being herself. One day, Julian noticed something different. As Clara lifted a heavy bag from his own trash, it split open, spilling its contents onto the pristine pavement. Coffee grounds, vegetable peels, and other refuse scattered everywhere. Julian expected her to get angry, to curse her luck. He'd seen his own staff complain about far less. Instead, Clara just sighed softly, set down her tools, and meticulously began to clean up the mess. She swept every last bit of debris, washed the stain from the pavement with a water bottle from her truck, and left the area cleaner than it was before. That was the moment everything changed for Julian. He saw in her not a garbage collector, but a person of immense integrity and strength. He was deeply moved by her humility and her unwavering commitment to doing her job well, no matter the circumstances. The next day, Julian did something he hadn't done in years. He walked out of his mansion and waited for her. When Clara's truck rumbled to a stop, she was surprised to see the owner of the massive estate standing by the curb. She braced herself for a complaint. Maybe the bin wasn't placed back perfectly. Maybe she had been too loud. Instead, Julian smiled a genuine, warm smile. "Good morning," he said, his voice softer than she'd imagined. "I've been watching you work for a while now. I just wanted to say that I admire your diligence and your positive attitude. It's rare, and it's inspiring." Clara was speechless. She could only manage a shy, "Thank you, sir. I'm just doing my job." Julian shook his head. "You do more than your job. You bring dignity to it." He then handed her an envelope. "This isn't charity," he said quickly, seeing the hesitation in her eyes. "I run a foundation that supports community initiatives and rewards individuals who demonstrate exceptional character. We believe people like you are the true backbone of our society. This is an educational grant for you to pursue whatever dreams you may have put on hold." Clara's hands trembled as she opened the envelope. Inside was a check for an amount so large it made her dizzy. It was enough to go back to school, to study landscape design, a passion she had long since abandoned because she needed to work. Tears welled up in her eyes. Not just because of the money, but because someone had finally seen her. Not as a uniform, not as a function, but as a person. She looked up at Julian, her heart overflowing with gratitude. I don't know what to say. Julian simply replied, "You don't have to say anything. Just promise me you'll never lose that light you have." From that day forward, Clara's life transformed. She enrolled in college, excelling in her studies, but she didn't forget where she came from. She started a small community project to create beautiful public gardens in neglected parts of the city, using her design skills to bring beauty and nature to those who needed it most. Julian became her mentor and friend. His life changed too. Inspired by Clara, he started to emerge from his shell. He became more involved in his community, not just by writing checks, but by giving his time and his heart. He learned from her that true wealth isn't measured by what you have, but by the positive impact you have on others. Their unlikely friendship became a quiet legend in the neighborhood. It was a story about how a millionaire, looking out from his mansion, found a treasure not in gold or diamonds, but in the heart of a garbage collector. It's a beautiful reminder that every person has value, and every job, when done with dignity, is honorable. Sometimes, the most profound lessons in life come from the most unexpected places, from the people we so often overlook. It teaches us to look closer, to see the person beyond the uniform, and to recognize the quiet heroes who walk among us every single day, making the world a better place in their own humble way. This story really shows us the power of seeing people, really seeing them for who they are, beyond the labels society puts on them. Julian had all the money in the world, but he was poor in human connection. Clara had very little, but she was rich in character and kindness. When he finally looked past her job and saw her spirit, both of their lives were enriched in ways money could never buy. It's a powerful lesson for all of us. How often do we walk past service workers, janitors, cashiers, delivery drivers, without a second thought? Each one of them has a story, a dream, a struggle. A simple act of recognition, a smile, a thank you can make a world of difference. It acknowledges their humanity. Clara wasn't looking for a handout. She was just living her life with integrity. And that's what ultimately captured Julian's attention. He didn't see a victim to be saved, he saw a hero to be honored. He used his resources not to control her, but to empower her, giving her the tools to build her own dreams. And in doing so, he found a new purpose for himself. Their story is a testament to the idea that respect and humility are currencies far more valuable than dollars. It reminds us that our worth is not defined by our profession or our bank account, but by our actions and the kindness we show to others, especially when no one is watching. Clara continued to work on her community gardens, transforming forgotten urban spaces into vibrant oases of green. Julian was often right there beside her, his designer clothes smudged with dirt, a genuine smile on his face. He found more joy in planting flowers with Clara than he ever did in closing a multi-million-dollar deal. So let this story be a gentle nudge. The next time you see someone doing a job that society might deem small, take a moment. See the person, acknowledge their effort. You never know what kind of impact your simple gesture might have. And you might just find that in recognizing the value in others, you discover something truly valuable within yourself. It's about building a world where everyone is seen, everyone is respected, and everyone has the chance to let their inner light shine. Thank you so much for watching this story all the way to the end. I hope it warmed your heart as much as it did mine. If you were touched by Clara and Julian's journey, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who might need a little inspiration today. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and ring that notification bell for more stories that celebrate the beauty of the human spirit. We love reading your thoughts, so please leave a comment below. What did this story make you think about? We look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, take care, and remember to look for the good in everyone.